Hello everyone, my name is David. Thank you for joining me today and watching my question and answer video that I do every single Monday. I'm a life coach and I help people heal, recover, and grow from all kinds of different trauma. The best way to heal is to understand, so please ask questions, okay? I'm answering people's questions today from the last Q&A video I did last Monday. Any questions you have, go down in the comment section, please, and ask me, and I'll answer them next Monday in the next Q&A video. Welcome new subscribers and new viewers. Hello, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate anyone that supports me in any way and helps me do what I'm doing. I'm trying to just simply offer enough information for people who need it to at least push them in the right direction to get the help that they need. So any efforts that you make to help me, I really appreciate it, and so do a lot of other people. Most of the people that I'm helping are recovering, healing, and suffering from different kinds of post-traumatic stress disorder. This is a very high suicide rate. A lot of people take their own lives from this, and just finding this information could save their life. You guys could save a life by supporting me in any way that you can, subscribing to my channel and voting and commenting, sharing this, stuff like that could actually save someone's life. Thank you. So every week I recommend something or suggest something. This week I want to suggest something that a viewer recommended, and I'm sorry I don't have your name. I didn't write it down. I wish I did. But anyways, someone in the medical field recommended something called lysine. It can be applied orally or on your skin. It's an amino acid, the building block of proteins. People used to make medicine out of it. It supports, these are the claims, okay? It supports immune health. It's used for preventing and treating cold sores. A lot of people get those. Some people get those a lot. It can improve athletic performance, and it's been known to decrease blood sugar levels for diabetics. It also reduces stress and anxiety. So you got something that claims it builds your immune system or supports it and helps with stress and anxiety. That's a perfect thing to take right now. Anybody who knows something about this, I'd love to hear your experience of this and what you think. Thank you. So I'm going to answer people's questions. All I ask from you guys is please give us your locations. Tell us where you are from, please, anywhere in the world, okay? You can be general. But really, I really like this. If you guys could do that, I appreciate it. Thank you. So let's get started from the first question from Delilah. And I can't remember where you're from, Delilah. I know you've told me before. I'm sorry, I can't remember. Whenever people refuse to get therapy because they are against it or don't think it works, I always say, your way of thinking got you here. Why not try something different? Amazing, huh? It's like people don't want to make the same mistakes, but they don't change anything. They do the same thing. I just wanted to read that. I like that a lot. Thank you. So next question, or the first question, actual question is from Jocelyn in Denton, Texas. Hello. I just want to confirm for anybody, fasting is miraculous. It really is. It's hard at first, but intermittent fasting gets a whole lot easier, and it is miraculous. Oh, I'm from Denton, Texas. Yeah, intermittent fasting can be great. I used to do that many years ago. I mean, so long ago that it was considered bad for you, and I was like, I don't care. It feels right. I can't eat on a schedule. I definitely don't like to force myself to eat. Right? I don't understand that. But intermittent fasting can be great. Studies show this. I just want to say one thing. If you're recovering from PTSD and you have massive anxiety problems, stuff like this, anxiety disorders, I highly recommend not to fast. Not eating causes anxiety in humans. It raises our stress chemicals and stuff like this to go look for food and give ourselves food. We got the biggest brains for our size of all animals, and we need to feed this thing a lot. That's why we get so hungry all the time, because our brains are so big. Thank you for sharing that, though. Yeah, it definitely can help. Definitely can help. But like I said, be wary of stuff, of everything that could help, or everything that's better for you may not be better for you right now. Okay? Thank you. So Jennifer wanted to recommend some other things too, so I'm just going to read them off. Thanks, Jennifer. Vitamin DS 4000, UDS, a day. A great calcium vitamin is so important. Magnesium, zinc, and multivitamin with iron, like prenatal for women of all ages. Men take a multivitamin with prostate health on the bottle. Sorry, I can't remember the supplement that helps the prostate. Omegas are crucial for our brains to work optimally. You know, it is so important. If you're ever a client of mine, you'll know that I recommend a bunch of things for you to buy and take. And there's so much behind that. It's just the fact that you're raising your self-worth, saying, I'm worth buying these things, I'm worth taking these things. But we are so deficient as humans. We're deficient of everything. I mean, so much stuff. There isn't enough in our food, okay? And we live stressful lives, demanding lives that depletes a lot of these things. If you're suffering from PTSD, I guarantee you don't have enough vitamins or minerals, period. And if you don't have enough of these things, just one little aspect. Like here, Jennifer was saying, something about your mind, your brain's working optimally. PTSD really affects your mind, your thought process, your concentration, your memory, your focus. These kinds of things can make life much harder for you. And when you're suffering under massive stress like this, it just compounds it. It's like, God damn it, I can't remember it. And then you start hating on yourself. I'm stupid, or I'm not good enough, and man, what's wrong with me? And it's just awful. So why not take some things that help you think better to make your life easier and better for you, right? I mean, it really comes down to self-worth. It really does. I have people say, oh, I don't like to take pills and stuff. I get that, but Jesus, you swallow a pill, make your life better, right? Jennifer goes on to say, I'm not a doctor, just someone who wants everyone to be as healthy as possible. You recommend turmeric with black pepper and milk thistle. Turmeric is super awesome for inflammation. Turmeric is amazing stuff. And it's one of my favorite ingredients for food. You put it in vegetables, meat, stuff like this. It's great stuff. It's it'll turn your food kind of yellowish, orangish. You'll notice a lot of different kinds of foods have that color. A lot of Middle Eastern food uses it, Indian food, stuff like this. And it just tastes so good. So to add something that tastes good and is good for you in your food, can't lose, right? Thanks, Jennifer. Next one is from Steve. Steve is still in Tom's River, New Jersey. Hello, Steve. David, thank you for helping me answering my questions. You're welcome. My question for you is the narc I was with, her father was diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic. Does that mean her father was born like that? And or are schizophrenic people narcissistic too? Just wanted your thoughts. Thanks again. I was adopted, and my adopted mother was paranoid schizophrenic. I know the disease extremely well. I lived with her. I took care of her until the day she died. And it is just a god-awful disease. God-awful disease. And it's psychosis, okay? So really, when you're psychotic, it really doesn't do any good to say, oh, are they narcissistic or not? They're just trying to live. When you have a disease that intrusive, you aren't very aware of much. So I could have said that my mother's narcissistic in the sense that she was selfish sometimes, but she didn't really ever want to hurt me, hate on me, use me, exploit me like narcissists whatsoever. And I've known other schizophrenics that I've noticed them to be like that, unless they have episodes, psychotic episodes, where they stop taking their medicine. Only 60% of schizophrenics even react to medication. The others don't. They're in full psychosis all the time. When somebody's fully psychotic and is hallucinating and hearing voices all the time telling them to do bad, nasty things to people, you can't really be aware of other people's emotions and how they are feeling. It's just an awful disease. I wouldn't say that somebody's really narcissistic because they're schizophrenic. Probably more narcissistic than you or I, but that's not really a term that describes them at all, from my experience. Schizophrenia is linked to personality disorders, though. Borderline and schizotypal. Schizotypal, borderline personality, and schizophrenia are all genetically linked. lot of borderlines I've known will have someone schizophrenic in their family somewhere, or someone schizotypal that's weird and says weird things or dresses weird. Like a lot of most homeless people, that's their problem. They're schizotypal. I don't know if I'm answering your question. I hope I did. Just please keep asking me, Steve, if you have more questions. I like talking about stuff like that. Thank you. Hi, David. It's Saida. And you told me that's how to say it. I hope that's right. Saida? Let me know if I got it right. Thank you so much for your answer last week. I have a new question, an issue that has been repeating itself so many times in my life. I'm a very clean person. I hate dirt, really. When I was a child, I used to wash my hands so many times a day that it drove my grandma crazy. That's compulsive behavior. When I was a child, but I often find myself in relationships with dirty people. A few years ago, I had a 3-year-long intimate relationship with a messy, dirty, filthy, absolutely disgusting guy. His house was a huge mess, and he turned mine into a nightmare. I exhausted myself, toiling very hard all day long to clean my home and his, and very quickly it was impossible to live in either home. The more I cleaned, the more messy he became. When I met him, he complained about the mess and how he could not handle it. And if only someone might help him, it would change his life. I grabbed the bait and became a slave. I eventually set myself free from him, but I met other dirty people, fortunately. I did not share my life with them. I wonder about the repetition of this pattern. Now I dread to share intimacy people, as I do not want to have anything to do with their mess or their filth. Well, yeah, I don't know where you're at, Saida, psychologically. You know, I don't know, but continuous washing and stuff like this is a compulsive behavior. It's like an avoidant type behavior to avoid how you feel. I'd say we commit to people who we don't want to be with at all. I think first of that is kind of having a strong, stable sense of your own self, right? For one. And then two, I mean, just there's probably much, much more to this. But one, not having a strong, stable sense of who we are and what we want. And by doing that, then we know what we want. We know how we feel. We know what our opinions is. People ask me what I do. I say, what do you want? They say, I don't know. How can I help you? Right? So having a strong sense of who we are, and then knowing what we want in a person, right? So something I get my clients to do is to write down what they value, what's important to them. And then I tell them, this is the person you need to find. Anybody who does not meet these standards, you believe your life isn't worth it. You know if your life is, you know if you have low self-worth or high, where your self-worth is by asking yourself, is my life worth more than this? So if you're dating people that you believe aren't good for you, aren't healthy for you, aren't what you want, you're not saying that you believe that your life is worth what you want. You believe that you date someone that's, you know, maybe unhealthy or sick, and you believe that's your worth. You aren't worth any more than that. Could be two of those things. And also say that we repeat things in our life that we need to heal from. There might be something familiar about this. Maybe the way you grew up. Is your mother or father like this? And if so, there might be something else that you need to heal from. If that makes sense. So if your father was like this all the time, and now you're marrying men just like that, there's something going on. And seek a professional to find out what that is. I really don't know what else to tell you besides that. It's about knowing who you are and what you want, and a measure of your self-worth, to believe you're worth someone clean, good, the person you want to be with, your standards. That should be on your standard list, and people should meet your standards if you want them in your interpersonal life. So we don't meet someone who's filthy and dirty and keep going out with them if that's not, you know, that they don't meet your standards, and that would be a measure of your self-worth, okay? Just to start there. Thanks. Johanna from Norway, hello. Good to see you. Hi, David. Sending hugs. I have a question. Are borderlines copycats? Totally. Anybody in a major part of borderlines disorder is that they don't have a stable sense of self, of who they are. So when you don't know who you are, you pick up things from other people and you copy them. You know, you see someone that you look up to and think is cool doing something, you'll start acting like them. I see it all the time. I see people pick up things. I'll say something kind of cool that someone hears for the first time and they start saying it and repeating it. And it's not, I mean, we're all a little like that, you know. We're all such social animals. We learn a lot of things from other people, right? But borderlines have no problem changing all the time, changing who they are, because they're not starting with a very strong self core of who they are. So it's easy to change. They don't mind compromising who they are all the time. And if they can't regulate their emotions, so something excites them. They meet someone they're excited about, and that person says, I like this. And they may, at the very time, I like it too now. It's easy to do that when you don't really know what you like. You don't really know who you are. You don't really know how you feel. Literally. Borderlines, so often, they'll tell me they don't even know how they feel. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. Never. I don't know how I feel. I don't know. Not in touch with their self. They have no opinion. I don't care. Whatever you want. Or their opinion never stops and it just never changes. I mean, it never stops changing, right? I use the excuse, you know, I'm honest and I lie. Jeez, you don't know who you are. And so they copy people all the time. Everybody's better than them. Very low self-worth. So they put people up on pedestals. They look up to people all the time. They go for unattainable people. Very common with borderlines. Man, I see that all the time. They'll go for famous people. They'll go for married men, married people. Borderlines, oh my God, they're notorious homewreckers. Notorious. How many borderlines have told me they're dating a married man? You know, or they like a married man. They're trying to get this married man. Like, Jesus. Yeah. Hope that answers your question. Thank you, Yana. Let's see where I'm at here. Okay, next question is from Christian in Michigan. Hello. My question today is probably a little different than what you normally hear. I'm nearing 30 years old and I want a family. I feel the drive to be a mother is getting to me more and more. I'm feeling impatient in being single, and the one man I am close to wants to take things slow, especially since he lives out of state. I really feel tired of waiting around watching the years go past. How can I rectify all this conflicting feeling? Wanting a child, wanting to take that necessary alone time after multiple toxic relationships, and maybe maintain a long-term friendship that may or may not turn into a relationship. My trauma mainly focuses on my narcissistic mother and my ex-husband. I was married to my first high school boyfriend, and we were together for 10 years before I saw the real him, sex addict. I do not feel angry or hurt by these people's actions and choices anymore. I now just see these people as disordered. I do not take what has done to me personally anymore. I think this is a good sign of healing. I'm not sure there will ever be a right time to begin a family, but when will I know it is time to try again? Do you have any insight for me? Thank you so much. Thank you for asking. Tough question. It's hard to answer this because it's up to you. It's what you want, Christian. It's about what you want, and when you're ready, and I don't know. You asked, is there some, when will I know it's time to try again? How I look at all this, and I've never been married and I have no children. Take this with a grain of salt, but how I look at life like this, okay, these kinds of questions, is I'm going to marry the person that I realize one day I just can't live without anymore. Like, I just need the next step. I need to be closer to you because I don't want to be without you anymore. I don't want to say goodbye to you anymore. I want to be with you. And so marriage, I guess. And I don't know. I mean, if you love someone enough, right, eventually you'll stop using protection, stuff like this. And if you have children, you have children naturally. Unless you know that you don't want children or you shouldn't have children right now, so then you be responsible and take preventative measures. I don't know how else to answer this question for you, Christian. If a family is something that you're determined that you want, it won't do you very much good to be with somebody who doesn't want that yet. At the same time, we can't rush it. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how bad you want children. You don't need to make mistakes. You don't need to have children with somebody who's an awful, awful person, or potentially just bad father, not responsible. You know, I've seen people's lives just get ruined for 18 plus years because they had children with the wrong person. there's two components to wanting children. For one, it's ingrained in our minds and our brains. Our brains only care about having children and staying alive. Okay? There's also void. Big time. Void. And I see this a problem with people of all ages. I see this with 16-year-old girls that want babies because they want someone to love them. Their parents didn't give them the attention they need. They haven't developed a full self yet at 16 at all. And so they don't really love themselves enough. And so they need someone to love them. They have babies on purpose at 16. I see women at 35 years old saying, my clock's ticking. You're going to make a baby with me or I'm out of here. And they lose maybe potentially good relationships because they're saying all that matters is a baby. I also know that when you don't meet your emotional needs, we aren't healthy and secure. Those are other reasons we feel rushed to get married or have babies. We start thinking with the more primitive mind, where we're looking for danger and it's just about staying alive, and I need somebody, I need to get married, and I need to have children. Right? These primal instincts that we have that are in all of us. But who am I to say, a woman wants to be a mother and have children? That's normal. It's natural. I don't know how, you said you're 30 years old. Most women can have babies for several more years. I think you concentrate on knowing who you are really well. Make sure that all your emotional needs are met very well, and that you have very strong and secure relationships with people that you want relationships with that meet your standards. Just that. You're only 30. You have plenty of time to have a child. Why the rush? Why? I mean, you want a child in 9 months from now? You better get pregnant right now. I mean, it's better to not make a mistake. Live your life, okay, doing what you want before you make new people and start living your life for them. Because once you have a child, your personal life is kind of back shelf for a few years. Make sure you're right where you want to be. You have that advantage. You have several years to plan for a child. Your boyfriend doesn't want to rush things. That's a good thing. Unless he doesn't want a child and he's not telling you that and being honest with you. But I think marriage comes first. And you need a father. You can't just have a child with a friend or adopt a child by yourself. I mean, they'll probably be okay, but you need a father. A child needs a father and a mother that love each other. So I think that's, first. And if you love your boyfriend, I think it's okay to wait a little while. But talk to him, communicate with him, ask him what he's thinking. Say, what do you think about, getting married soon? And what do you think about, when do you want to be? When are you thinking about it? When? Have him reassure you and give you confidence and security that you will be able to have a baby in the next couple years or so. Have him reassure you of this. Make sure that you feel secure of this. If you don't, he doesn't do that very well, maybe consider someone else. Okay? I hope that helps. Please just ask me more questions if you have them. Thanks. So I'm going to end the part 1 here for the Q&As, and I'll start part 2 in a few minutes. If you guys, again, could help me so much by subscribing and voting and sharing, okay? Help me so much. Thank you. Anybody that wants coaching, you can find me at daviddemars.com. Thank you. I'll see you in part 2.